Have you ever felt like Dorothy feeling away from Kansas in a place that you've never been before? For my informative speech, I'm going to talk about Royal Caribbean and their cruise ships. I just went on my first cruise in last January, and it was something like I never experienced before. When I first got on the ship, I didn't even realize that it was that big, and trying to compare it to anything else is just unreal. Royal Caribbean ships are one of the largest out of all the cruise lines, and they are the most accommodable. You can eat when you want, whatever you want to eat. You can even do mind time dining, which is something that only Royal Caribbean offers. Royal Caribbean has the best ratings and the best ships. Obviously, like everyone has heard on the news, you've heard about how horrible Carnival cruises are, and that's why I chose Royal Caribbean for my informative speech. So now that you know a little bit about Royal Caribbean, I want to tell you why I think people should take Royal Caribbean cruises over any other cruise line. Because people get seasick so much, I think it's good that Royal Caribbean has the largest cruise ships because it's a lot harder to feel the waves and to get seasick on their ships because they're so big. When they're the bigger the ship is, it's harder for the person to feel it rocking and moving. So I'm someone that gets seasick a lot and very quickly. So I was very nervous to go on a cruise ship, but I went on the second largest class that Royal Caribbean has to offer. I was on the Freedom class, I was on the Independence of the Seas, and I didn't feel a thing. I brought the Dramamine, which is supposed to help anyway, but I didn't even have to take it because it wasn't necessary because the ship was so big. People always complain about the size of the rooms and the showers and everything on cruise ships, but Royal Caribbean, even their smallest rooms are still big. I mean, every room like really should only have two people in it, but even if it was a family of three or four, it would still be big enough. There was enough room for all my clothes and my suitcase and all of my boyfriend's stuff as well. On Royal Caribbean ships, there are over 2,000 crew members to help you with anything you need. Because the cruise ships are so big, there are about 4,000 passengers, not including the 2,000 crew members. So that's 6,000 at least passengers that are on the ship, and there's always someone to talk to if you need help finding your way anywhere, or even if you're just out on the deck. Tanning, you can always have um, someone to talk to because there are so many passengers. Royal Caribbean actually just came out with a new ship that is only leaving out of Jersey. It's called the Quantum of the Seas. Although this isn't one of their largest ships, it's one of their most technological ships. Even the innermost rooms of this Quantum of the Seas ship, they are simulated ocean views, so you don't have to worry about not having a window or anything in your room because you'll have a simulated ocean view anyway, even if you are in the innermost room. Royal Caribbean ships have something called the Royal Promenade. It's kind of like a mall strip, and on the Royal Promenades during the day, there's all retail stores and there's ice cream shops, a pizza place, cafes. There's everything that you can imagine. Um, Once the night falls on these royal promenades, it becomes a parade, and every night they have like a different themed parade, and that was very enjoyable. They weren't too loud, so if you had a room that overlooked the promenade, it was easy if you wanted to go to sleep early, even if it was during the parade. These ships are so large that they include ice rinks and theaters, and there's pools everywhere. Every night they give you what's called the compass, and what you do with that compass is you look for, it's like your itinerary for the next day, and you can see what shows and what's specialing the next day. They have drinks of the day every day, and there are bars all over the place that you can go grab a drink at and put it on your Sea Pass card. Royal Caribbean is one of the best cruise lines because they always have some type of discount and offer, and that's good because a lot of people think that cruise lines are very expensive, and although people say you pay for, you definitely do with Royal Caribbean. It's definitely easy to afford if you book in advance, which I highly recommend. and then you could do a monthly payment and pay it off over the year if you need to. And then once you pay it off, then you can start saving for things that you want to do on the cruise ship. The Royal Caribbean offers a lot of different excursions that it's things that you would never think about doing in your life. I got to snorkel and look at a shipwreck, and I'm petrified of swimming in the ocean, but being on the cruise, it kind of just made me, I guess, grow up a little bit and do it, and it was so much fun. It was definitely worth it, and I wouldn't change my experience for the world. Some other things that Royal Caribbean has to offer are their Vegas shows that they have. It all depends on what you really want to do that night. Like, you don't ever have to pay for the shows, they're free. You can go to dinner whenever you want. You can either go into the royal dining room, like the main dining room, or you can go to the buffet, which is very delicious anyway, even though it's just a buffet. And after dinner, you can go see a show, or you can go to one of the clubs, but I highly recommend going to the shows because they were definitely something very memorable. Every night was a different show, and it wasn't like you were going to a show and you were bored. It wasn't like a play. It was actually like a really cool show, and it was very enjoyable. Even if you had a family for young children, there was one night where they had all children's um, reenactments of movies, so that was really cute. All the ships have theaters, so every ship has shows at night. Even if you don't want to see like a Vegas show, you can go at night. They do ice shows in the ice rink, and that was really really cool because that's something that you don't ever think that you could do on a cruise ship. Royal Caribbean has simulated surfing on the flow riders that they have on both the back and the front of the ship, which was really, really cool because you're surfing while you're in the middle of the ocean. They also have tennis courts and boxing rings, and one of the really, really cool things that Royal Caribbean has to offer is their rock wall. Their biggest ship, the Oasis and the Allure of the Seas, they actually have a zip line from both ends of the ship, so that's really, really cool, and that's something that no other cruise line has to offer. Royal Caribbean is one of the cleanest and highest rated ships and cruise lines out there, so I highly recommend taking a cruise on Royal Caribbean. If you are a cruise hater, I definitely think you should go on Royal Caribbean because you'll absolutely change your mind. To bring this all together, I think that personally, Royal Caribbean is the best cruise line. It has the best offers, the best prices, and you get definitely what you pay for. You get your safety, you get delicious food, and you get to go places that you've never been before, and you get to do things that you've never done before. So I highly recommend taking Royal Caribbean over any other cruise line, and I hope that this speech informed you a little bit more about Royal Caribbean and cruises. Thank you very much.